Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can everybody hear me? And can you see my screen? Oh, is this better? I just raised the volume. Okay. Jazakallah khair. Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen. Wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsanin ila yawmiddin. Amma ba'd. So basically we're starting a new session, but instead of covering new rules and regulations from the Tajweed rules book, I figured I think we should do a quick recap once again, and let's focus on actually reading from the Quran this time. Okay, so we did some practices here and there, but we haven't really been focusing on reading Quran. So another aspect of this class is to memorize some of the surahs, especially the last 10 surahs, Surah Fatiha, correct your readings for all of those and memorize all of those surahs. So inshallah we will start with that. We have done Surah Al-Fatiha a couple of times. So we will do Surah Al-Nas and Surah Al-Falaq today. But keep in mind that now you know some of the rules of the Tajweed. So let's try to apply those rules in your reading. And I understand not all of the rules have been covered, so we won't know how to do all of the various rules, but we can do the rules that we actually know so far. Okay, so let's start with that. Okay, so just to give you a quick recap, let's start with the first rule from, we did Makharij al-Huruf. Inshallah you guys are okay with that, where the articulation points are for each of the letters. So let's try to pronounce each letter properly. As far as the rules, we only covered Ahkam al-Nun al-Sakina wa Tanween, so Nun Sakin and Tanween rules. And then within those rules, we covered Al-Izhar, Al-Idgham, Al-Iqlab, and Al-Ikhfa. So these four rules, how they occur within the reading of the Quran. So you have, all the throat letters coming after Tanween or Nun Sakina. Then you will have to do Izhar. You have to pronounce it. You don't have Ghunna. And Al-Idgham, you have to join them together. You have Yarmalun, Ya, Ra, Mim, Lam, Wa, Nun. So in those cases where you have any of those letters coming after the Nun Sakin and Tanween, you have to merge them. Okay, so when you merge them, you basically end up with either merging with Ghunna or merging without Ghunna. So in the case of Ya, Nun, Mim, Wow, you have to make the Ghunna. And in the case of Ra and Lam, actually you should say Lam and Ra, then you should not make the Ghunna, but you should just join them together without the Ghunna. And then Al-Iqlab, you had the changing of the letter. If you had, I think there was only one letter at that time, it was Ba. If the Tanween or Nun Sakin was followed by Ba, you would change it into a Mim, but you'd have a Ghunna, and it would have nothing to do with the Nun Sakina, but it would be because of the Mim, and you would have no traces of the Nun, and it would be you would have to close your lips. Let's look at that one real quick. You would have to close your lips while you're doing that, right? So observing the gunna while hiding the meme. This gunna is the characteristics of the hidden meme and has nothing to do with the noon sakina. Hiding the meme by closing the lips and changing the noon sakina or tanween into a meme, so there is no trace of the noon sakina or tanween left. So this only happens if there is a ba after the noon sakina or tanween. And then the last rule, which is for everything else, all the other letters, after you take out the 12 letters from idhar and iqlab and idgham, so 13 letters. After you take out the 13 letters, all the rest of them are what is known as ikhfa, where you basically, ikhfa means hiding or concealment, so you don't pronounce the noon or the tanween, the noon or the tanween. Tanween also has the noon sound, an, in, un, so you don't pronounce the noon part of it, but you do pronounce the gunna. And also there is a few exceptions that we didn't talk about. So inshallah, when we get to those exceptions, we will see them. Okay, and also the writing rules are somewhat important. If you pay attention to the writing rules, you'll see if there is a izhar, then you will see that the double tanween signs, the double harakas, they are aligned together. The two fathas, two kasras, and two dhammas, they're aligned together. But in the case of idgham or ikhfa, they are not aligned together, indicating that you will either have idgham or ikhfa or iqlab happening with those. Iqlab is easier to identify because there will be a meme there, so you will know that there is a ba and there is a meme. But in the case of idgham, obviously once you know the rule, idgham, you have the yarmalun and all the rest of the letters when they appear right after the tanween or the nun sakina, then you will have to do the gunna. Okay. This rule is essentially true for the Arabic type of Quran printing. It's only for Quran, obviously. So it's not all Arabic script. It's just the Quran and some hadith, but mostly it's just focused on the Quran. You don't read any Arabic with tajweed. You only read Quran with tajweed, and it's not in every printing. So I mean, the printing that we are using, the mushaf we are using, is Mushaf Medina. So it's in this one. I don't know if it's in others. We can look, but we're focused on the other one, on this one. The Pakistani Indian script, I'm not sure. I don't think it has that. So, but you can use this, or you can use the Mushaf Tajweed, where you have colored letters. So it will indicate if there is a, I don't know if there is a Mushaf Tajweed here. Show me 12 lines. No, there is. It's just Mushaf Medina and normal Mushaf. Qalun and Naqsh, old Medina Mushaf. They don't have the Pakistani one here, I don't think. Or maybe there is. Oh, okay, there is some Urdu stuff here, right? So let's take a quick peek. Urdu 12 lines. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Okay, mic is hopefully is closer. Yeah, there are so many others. So many other types of writings. This is somewhat closer to the Urdu stuff, but it's not exactly the same. I know the Urdu Mushaf has a little bit different writing. So let's see. You see any tanween here? Kufuwan ahad. Is this fine? And then what about? Yeah, they're using the same rule in this one too, as you can tell. I think there is a. Yeah, these two are not lined together because there is a gunna here, right? So there is idgham here, and then these are not lined together because there's idgham. I want to see where it is lined together. These are all they have. There's no izhar here. It's just in that Qul huwallahu ahad, right? وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. So these two are lined together. So this is just a small point. I mean, you don't really have to focus on that. It's just a small point where, it gives you some help if you want to, get some help in terms of, remembering where to do the idgham, ikhfa, and iqlab. But, you can remember it on your own without the help of these letters, right? So yeah, this is more of the ones that more people are used to if you're from India or Pakistan. And so let's see. Kufuwan. So yeah, it's lined up here, but it's also lined up here. So it's not really making a difference here, is it? Now that so there is ikhfa here, but it's still lined up, so it doesn't really help you here. But that's fine. I mean, you have your knowledge of which letters come. That is more important than relying on how the lining up is done for the different harakat, and also how the coloring is done for the different how you pronounce them. So let's not worry about them. Let's just continue to read. Do you guys prefer I use this mushaf, or do you want me to go back to the Medina mushaf? It's important to use the same one every time. I don't really have a preference. I think it's more common to use Medina mushaf if you can, but if you want, you can use this one too. So I'll let you guys decide. If you want me to go back to the Medina mushaf, let me know. If you want me to use this mushaf, I can continue using this. You can let me know. I got to this one by selecting the mushaf on the top left on this page, right? So you scroll down, you find this one. I think I'm on this one. Urdu 15 lines. Urdu 12 lines, and all the rest of them are available here as well. So these are some of the common ones. I think there's a bunch of other ones as well that are not here. So the ones that I have been using is Mushaf Medina, this one here, Medium Medina, I think. Some of the other ones are, Tajweed Mushaf. Let's see if we can use this one here. That might be a good one to use. Let's see. The one I have a copy of is like this. Yeah, I have this one at home, but I have the one that has, in the margins here where the yellow stuff is, it has translations in English. So I can quickly reference if I forget what something means. I can quickly look at it. So I don't know if there is a mushaf online for that, but that's what I'm using. I'm using one that has translations in English on the side to make it easy for me to just quickly reference it. Because inshallah, eventually we're going to look at the meanings of each of these letters. So you will be able to tell, when you're reading without referencing the the translation, what each letter, what each word means. So in this case, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. So what قُلْ means, what أَعُوذُ means, what بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ means. So all of these have meanings, obviously, and all of these meanings are quite easy to understand if you understand some basic Arabic. I'm not saying you need to be a master of Arabic, but you need to know some basic Arabic, and inshallah you will be able to understand most of the Quran. I think there is some people that teach Arabic that claim if you finish their course, they will guarantee that you'll know 80% of the Quran. There is also a dictionary or something. If you learn from that dictionary, the dictionary of the Quran, then you will learn 80% of just by going through that book. You will know 80% of the vocabulary of the Quran, and you know where it comes from, and so you can read the Quran by yourself. So inshallah we'll try to do something like that, where we know in its own, speaking Urdu, you can understand some of it already, right? You may not realize it, but you will know some of it already just by speaking Urdu. I know a lot of people who just know Urdu, they don't know Arabic, but they, if you ask them, what do you think this means, they can guess, and with quite frequently it's correct. So you have a lot of leverage, and inshallah, if you pay more attention and apply yourself, it is not very hard. It's quite easy to understand what the Quran is saying. So again, for this course, I think I got sidetracked a little bit. We had covered Idhar, Idgham, Iqlab, Ikhfa, Nun Sakina and rules, and we also covered the Mim Sakina rules. Mim Sakina rules have Ikhfa al-Shafawi, Idgham al-Saghir, and Idhar al-Shafawi, which we covered last week. So this one is basically when you have a meme that have no haraka on it, and then there is no tanween here, but it's basically just the meme with no haraka on it, and if it's followed by a ba, okay? So if it's followed by a ba, you have what's called al-ikhfa al-shafawi, and al-idgham al-saghir is when it's followed by another meme, and idhar al-shafawi is when it's followed by all the rest of the letters, okay? So the way this works is if a meme is followed by a ba, you basically have to do ghunna, and shafawi just means it's made through the lips, okay, because meme is from the lips. Idgham al-saghir, if it's followed right after another meme, so you have meme followed by a meme, so you will make idgham, you will join them together, and you will apply a shadda. Shadda is basically doubling the haraka, okay? So we will see that in our reading today, inshallah. And idhar al-shafawi is anything other than a meme and a ba. When it happens after a meme sakina, you have to pronounce the meme, and you have to pronounce it with your lips. That's why it's called ash-shafawi. Okay, so there is not a whole lot other than just those three rules for meme sakina, and we were supposed to cover al-ghunna today, but I decided let's not cover that right now because it's just too much theory going on. So let's go ahead and start with our reading, inshallah. So I've opened the Mus'haf Tajweed because it has some coloring and so on, so to ease in your reading of the rules. So when you recognize the rule, then you can go ahead and pronounce that with the rule. So all the green stuff is ghunna with ikhfa, okay? All the green stuff I think is Malikin Nas and Al-Khannas. Let me just check. Okay, ikhfa ومواقع الغنة حركتان. So you have two, you have the shadda here. So you have two, two letters. I mean, you have to pronounce them with. You can't say minal jinnati wan nas. You have to say minal jinnati wan nas. So you have to prolong it a little bit, right? So that's what this green is. The blue stuff we haven't covered, which is al-qalqala. We will cover that inshallah in a few sessions. Let's see. The pink, the purple stuff, I don't know if you can see the colors. The purple stuff is mud. This one is, you have to make it really, really long, so we don't have much of that here. Let's see. On this page, we don't have anything, but if you go to Surah Al-A'raf, I think you can see the mud to be like really long. I just remember the first one, right? So let's see. So this Alif Lam Mim Sad. So this one is, you have a really long mud. So we will cover the mud rules when we cover them. The pink one is like slightly shorter. Okay, so this one where you have the pink color, you have a mud, you have slightly shorter. So you can see when you have these colored rules, so I mean, you don't really have to remember a whole bunch. You just remember the colors, and if ra, wow, for example, the wow is followed by a alif, then it's or a hamza, then it's a mud over there, and then that mud is a certain length. Okay, so when we cover that, we will do that. Mad harakatan, it's a very short mud. Okay, like in this case, in yadlimun, you can't make it yadlimun. You can't make it really long, but you have to make it slightly longer than if it wasn't this color. Okay, and so on. So you have all of these rules right here. Okay, so you have ikhfa. There's no color for idgham or iqlab. Iqlab, you have the meme written down. I think, let me see if there is one here. I don't see one on this page, but inshallah when we get to it, we will get to it. Okay. So izhar, no color, just ikhfa, there is a color. Idgham, I think, okay, they have a little gray one here, right? So let's see. Yeah, some of these are not that easy to read. So kasfim ma'kul. So you see the gray, two kasras that are gray under the fa. So that's your idgham indicator. Okay, and then wailul likulli. So the two dhammas on the lam, they are indicated with the gray color. So I mean, you can see it has some value. You can see that there is this color help available to you. So you can use it if you want to, but you don't necessarily have to. Okay, so let's start with Surah An-Nas. We'll go ahead and read Surah An-Nas, and then we will give each of you a chance to read. So my intention is to, inshallah, correct any pronunciation errors that you might have. And once you have that, once you correct them, you should be able to, inshallah, memorize these surahs. So we will have you read them from memory the next time you probably have them already memorized, but the idea is to cover all of the last 10 surahs. So 1, 2, 3, all the way to Alam Tara Kayfa. Okay, so you have 6 here, and you have 4 until Alam Tara Kayfa. We will try and memorize all of these, and if you are really good, we will memorize more. but let's try with these last 10. And then inshallah we'll start covering the meanings of the words as well. Okay, so I'll go ahead and read it first, or maybe I can get the Sheikh to read it for us.
قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس.
I don't know what happened.
ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس
من الجنة والناس. So for some reason they had some issue with that. Let me just open up Abdullah Bas first. You can play it from here as well.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So see how slowly he read and how he was pronouncing everything, slowly and carefully. So the same thing we want to do, inshallah. We want to cover قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. So I want you guys to one by one read it. So I'll start first. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. Okay. So take your time and go slowly, inshallah you'll do well. So I'll go ahead and start. Shahid Ahsan, please go ahead and read.
السلام عليكم.
Salam.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس.
Good, alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair. Kamran, go ahead. Can you try reading? I can't hear you yet.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس.
Good, alhamdulillah. I know we haven't covered the lam rules, but when you say Bismillah, so you have to say Bismillah with this thin lam. You cannot say Bismillah. You have to say Bismillah. Okay. Can you?
Bismillah.
Bismillah. Right. It cannot be a, thick lam like Bismillah or anything like that.
Okay. Bismillah.
Bismillah. Jazakallah khair. And then there are times when the lam is thick, and that's when you pronounce it with the like Qul huwallah, Qul huwallahu ahad. That time the lam is thick, with your mouth is full. But when you say Bismillah, it's thin. But inshallah, we'll cover the lam rules eventually. Also, when you pronounce each of the letters, make sure you're trying to use, to the best of your ability, the right makharij al-huruf, the right articulation point. So, for example, especially the problem letters where you have issues, you should know yourself, right? So if you pronounce, usually people from our background, we don't pronounce the dal and the za and the dad and the la correctly. So when you come to those letters especially, and then the ayn and the qaf and the kha, we need to make sure that we pay special and close attention to those letters especially, although all the letters are important. So when you say qul a'udhu, make sure your tongue, the tip of your tongue just touches the bottom part of your top two teeth. Okay, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ مَلِكِ النَّاسِ إِلَهِ النَّاسِ مِنْ شَرِّ الْوَسْوَاسِ الْخَنَّاسِ. And then الَّذِي, also the same thing. You have الَّذِي. And it's a subtle difference, but people who speak Arabic, they can tell right away, and it can make a world of difference if you pronounce it wrong in terms of the meaning. And then the same thing with sudur in nas, you have to pronounce the sad. It cannot be like sudur, it has to be sudur with the sad, proper letter, and so on, inshallah. So jazakallah khair. We'll go to the next person. Faiz, I'll go ahead and unmute you. You can go ahead and read.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس.
Good, alhamdulillah. Let's see.
من شر الوسواس الخناس.
So try and say that verse again. Read that one. Faiz, go ahead and read the min sharril waswasil khannas.
من شر الوسواس.
That's right. So there is a ghunna here, and you have to spend some time on that ghunna.
من شر.
Play it.
الذي من شر الوسواس الخناس.
Yeah, so, just by, slowing down and paying a little more attention, inshallah, we can do a lot better. Okay, jazakallah khair. Dad and Zad. Dad is Shahid Ahsan's question. Dad is a very special letter in Arabic, and when you're pronouncing while you're reading the Quran, it's important to learn this properly. So, Dad, if you know the articulation point is the side of your tongue, the left side or the right side, or you can use both sides, but it's usually easier to just use one side and just use the, the side of your tongue touches the teeth. Okay, so I'll show you in the diagram where the Dad is coming from. So you have to be a little bit conscious of where the sound is coming from, and inshallah once you do that, it will make it a little bit easier. And obviously it does require practice. And Dad is supposed to be the most difficult letter to pronounce. And this is, it's a famous saying that Arabic is also known as Lughat ad-Dad, the language of the letter Dad, because it's used often, and it's also used exclusively in Arabic. There's no other language in the world that uses this letter quite like this. From the sides or edges of the tongue and what lies opposite to it of the upper molars, left or right. It can be articulated from both sides at the same time. This is one of the most difficult articulation points for Arabs and non-Arabs alike. Shaykh al-Jazari said the following about this letter articulation point. And the Dad is from its meaning the tongue side, and the Dad from side when it's closed to the molars from its left or right. So there's some poetry about it. We don't have to worry about that, because the old scholars from way back when they wanted to teach tajweed, the tajweed rules, there is actually a large poem about all of the letters to memorize where the articulation points are, where the different tajweed rules are. So there is actually a poem that if you memorize that poem, you will memorize all the rules and all the articulation points and all the ways of how to read, how to do tajweed properly. So they were very skillful way back when they were able to come up with a poem that was easy to remember, because the poem is it has rhyme and qafiyah and all that stuff. So once you memorize the poem, then you know all of the rules and regulations. So if you forget any rule, all you have to do is just recite the poem, and you will know where the rules are. So there are similar poems in Arabic for not just tajweed, but some of the other scholars, they've done it for various things like grammar rules and various things. So they usually call them alfiya because they had like 1,000 verses for the poem. And it would be required for students who are studying tajweed or Arabic grammar to have memorized those, and they would memorize it very, very fast, because they didn't have iPhones and Android phones and iPads and all those things to confuse them with anything, right? So they would be able to memorize them. Unfortunately, these days, memories are not as strong, but the knowledge that is available at our fingertips is a lot. So a lot of people don't know this, but you have in your in your palms, in your hands, you can have essentially large libraries right in your hand. Right, so that is a powerful thing, but unfortunately, memory is gone. Okay, but anyway, so we'll go to the next person. Faiz, you have more people there that you can read.
Muhammad.
Okay, go ahead, Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس.
Shabash, Beda. What's the other person? Zubair?
Zubair.
Okay, go ahead.
Assalamualaikum
Alaikum assalam.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس.
Shabash, very good. Jazakallah khair. We'll move to the next person. Tahir, go ahead and read, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس.
Very good. Jazakallah khair. Okay, so I think everybody got a chance to read this. So inshallah, next time we will cover the next surah, which is Qul A'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq. So for this time, your homework is to memorize Qul A'udhu bi Rabbin Nas if you haven't already. But you know, when we come back the next week, inshallah, you read it really slowly, making sure all the articulation points are taken care of. You're pronouncing each letter properly, and you're pronouncing especially the ikhfa, the gunna on the Malikin Nas, Ilahin Nas, and so on. So those are the rules that we have already covered. And then I want you to also come prepared for Qul A'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq. So here we have the qalqala rule, which is, you know, you see, as you can see, the bluish color here. So this essentially is qalqala, which means that you have to pronounce the qaf in such a way that the qalqala mechanism, right? So this is a further along chapter. Letters which have no vowels are produced by collision of the two components of the articulation points. Vowel letters, on the other hand, are pronounced by parting the two components. I think this might be how letters are formed. Hang on. Letters of strength, حروف التوسط, حروف Okay. So these are the letters of the qalqala. Qutb Jad, if you have any of these letters, and Ajid Qatin Bakat. Okay, I'll cover this next time when we come. But basically, just know that we have you know, when you stop at the qaf here, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ, you have to say أَقَى, فَلَقَ. You have like a, you know, you cannot just say falaq and just stop there. You have falaq, and then you have same thing, مِن شَرِّ مَا خَلَقَ. Okay, let's just read the. I'm just going to play the.
قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد.
So if you paid attention, you heard the qa. sounds, right? قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ مِنْ شَرِّ مَا خَلَقَ وَمِنْ شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبَ. So, the, right? وَقَبَ. وَمِنْ شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ وَمِنْ شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدَ. So you don't just have a sukoon on it. You don't just stop on it by not making any sound, but you do make a qalqala sound. It's called qalqala. Okay, so inshallah we'll try and cover those rules as soon as we can. But inshallah next week we will cover Qul A'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq. We will try and memorize that. But we'll start with Qul A'udhu bi Rabbin Nas. So you guys will recite Qul A'udhu bi Rabbin Nas for me. So practice and read slowly, and then we will go over Qul A'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq, and then inshallah we'll close the next session like that. Okay, and as far as the Arabic language, inshallah, once we have a few of these rules under our belt, then inshallah we will start with some of the basic Arabic language rules, so we can start with understanding where the Quran is coming from. If you have time, like these days, we have a lot of time because of holidays and so on. School's off probably, so you can also learn on your own as well. What I will do is I will send you some links on studying some Arabic, some basic rules of grammar in the Arabic, and some basic vocabulary of the Quran. So I'll go ahead and send you some videos, some YouTube videos, and so on, so you can spend some time on doing that instead of wasting time doing something else, inshallah. Okay, so do that on your own. But in our class, we will start after we've mastered some of these tajweed rules and we've done some memorization of the last 10 surahs of the Quran. Then we will start with the Arabic language itself, inshallah. So yeah, barakallah fiqh, and inshallah the Quran copy that I have, it's published by the same guys, I think, that published these mushafs. I think Saudi or something like that. So I don't know, I got it here from a bookstore here in California, so it should be available. What I'll do is I'll take some pictures and I'll send you that, or maybe I'll find it online. I'll send you the link to where you can get it, so on. Okay. Barakallah fiqh. Okay. Yeah, so just make dua for me, and inshallah we'll meet next time. Spend some time studying on your own as well, and inshallah if I have time I will start more frequent classes, and not just once a week. We'll start doing more if we can, if I can find time, and if you guys have time as well, we'll spend more time. I think once a week is just not enough. We have to spend a little more time, inshallah. So hopefully you are finding some time on your own to read on your own, and try to go through the tajweed book as well as much as you can from your own, because we're not exactly reading every sentence in that book. So try and read that book on your own. You have the PDF, and try to learn all the rules, and inshallah we will be in a good shape once you learn all the rules, and we can give them practice, the due practice that we have, and memorize as much as we can of the last 10 surahs and more, if inshallah, if possible, and learn enough Arabic so we don't have to consult the dictionary or the translation every time you are reading the Quran. So when you're reading in the salah, in your prayer, or if you're behind an imam and he's reading from the Quran, you can actually understand what he's saying. So that way it will be a much better experience than you currently have if you don't speak Arabic, if you don't know what the imam is reading or what the Quran is saying. So inshallah that is our ultimate goal, and inshallah may Allah help us get to that goal together, inshallah. So for that I'll go ahead and close the class for today, and I hope you have time for practicing because you will be reading Qul A'udhu Birabbin Nas and then we will start Qul A'udhu Birabbil Falaq next week. Jazakumullahu khairan. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.